Tangible Isco here, proprietor and operator of amateur radio station W1GV. Da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da, da-da-dit-da-da-da. Here to talk about how to keep a wire antenna tight and yet always not break, okay? The first thing that you need to consider is the antenna wire itself, and that's this. It should not stretch. Now, soft-drawn copper wire, no matter how large in diameter, will stretch eventually, and if you don't have some provision for that stretching between the insulator, which is this thing, and the support, you're going to get into trouble. And also, some antennas have to stay the same length. For example, a resonant dipole antenna or some such thing, 40-meter dipole antenna, about 33 feet, but whatever frequency you choose, and once you trim it, its length must not change. It should be, there's certain things that you need to consider about that. First of all, it should be at least AWG number 12 gauge wire. It should not be soft-drawn copper wire. Now, it can be stranded copper wire. That stretches a lot less than does soft-drawn copper, or copper-clad steel wire, which is best of all. But if you've ever worked with that stuff, you know what's going to happen if you let it go slack while you're working on it. You don't need me to tell you that, do you? Well, go ahead and find out. Go ahead and try it. Then spend the next 2 days untangling the results. So stranded wire is very good. Insulated is probably a little better because it'll corrode more slowly. AWG number 2? No. At least AWG number 12. But preferably number 10. Stranded or copper-clad steel wire. That's the first thing. The second thing is what goes on between the insulator and the support. Now, if this insulator, or rather the support, is something that will sway, such as a tree, and it should be a very sturdy, large tree, by the way, you don't want to use a small tree, then what you're going to want to do is have a weight, a pulley of some kind or another, and run a non-stretchable wire like that, or a non-stretchable piece of nylon rope, something though that will endure the elements and will not stretch. Then as this thing sways back and forth, the pulley and the weight, that's kind of a small weight, isn't it? It has to be a pretty good weight, several pounds at least, will keep that thing more or less tight, because as the tree sways this way, the pulley will let the antenna pull along but not go slack, and contrary-wise, as it sways that way, the weight will pull the antenna tight and keep it tight. But again, it has to be a heavy enough weight. That'll work well for any type of support, but you don't really need this kind of an elaborate arrangement if the support is not a tree or not something that will move. For example, a tower, a guide tower, a utility pole, not the utility company's pole, but a great big creosoted telephone pole that you install in your yard to your significant others and neighbors' delight. But anyway, then all you need to do is provide more wire. You need to attach it securely to the support. You can use the same type of wire, number 12 or number 10 AWG stranded or copper-clad steel wire or nylon rope. But you want to make sure then that this thing is pulled tight, but not so tight that it's going to break in the event of temperature changes that can change the length even of copper-clad steel or stranded wire. You can do that and you'll get a good result from that. If this thing sways just a little bit, then you might want to include a spring along in here, but a very, very rugged spring so that maintains, it'll take a lot of force, a lot of tension. That's the way to keep your wire antenna tight and not let it break. It's nothing worse than having to go and when it's below zero outside and put your antenna back up because it broke. Although eventually something's going to come along and break it. Eventually, if you leave it up long enough, that will happen. But those are the techniques that are most commonly used to keep wire antennas tight and yet not break. Stan Gibilisco W1GV saying 73, which means best regards in ham radio jargon, and so long, which means in my native language, did-da-da-da-da-da.